All right, let's
He's
continue.
now in the race for the White House. Donald Trump says he will not debate Kamala Harris again as both candidates hit the campaign trail in the battleground states. Mary Bruce is tracking the race. Good morning, Mary.
Good morning, Georgia. Both campaigns are out blitzing the battlegrounds, hitting those key swing states after that critical debate, as Donald Trump now says it will be their only one. On the campaign trail for the first time since her face-off with Donald Trump, Kamala Harris in North Carolina, challenging him to another debate.
2 nights ago, Donald Trump and I had our first debate. And I believe we owe it to the voters to have another debate.
Even as his aides and allies admit he was on defense almost the whole debate, Trump still claiming he was the winner.
As everyone saw 2 nights ago, we had a monumental victory.
But also saying he's done with debates.
So because we've done 2 debates and because they were successful, there will be no third debate.
I think this is some cowardly bullshit, okay? If he was dropping 10 points on Harris right now, that's valid. I mean, even then, it's not necessarily valid because, like, I think his people do demand blood. Okay, it's one thing to just say, I'm not going to do any debates in the Republican primaries because, like, my closest opponent is not even 35 points near me. That's fine. That's one thing, right? That was probably a smart and calculated decision. But when the race is this fucking close, okay, when it's like ass hair like this, especially in key states, you know you don't want to do another debate because you got dumped on, okay? You got absolutely gutted. You got cumstered and dumpstered, and you don't want to do that again because it was fucking embarrassing. And it was embarrassing in the worst possible way for you because you came in, you thought you could make light work of Kamala Harris because you saw what we saw. She's not very charismatic. And also on top of that, she doesn't handle herself, at least in prior conditions, in a contested environment. Like Dana Bash, if she came in with the same energy that she brought to the table in the not so adversarial Dana Bash interview, she would have gotten destroyed. It would have looked terrible for her. But she came in hot. She was a little nervous in the beginning. And then she was very smooth, okay? Beyond that. And this is a problem for Trump. Why is this a problem for Trump? Because a lot of people want something positive out of the Democratic Party. They're like begging. They're like, listen, I want to vote against Donald Trump, but you got to give me a crumb, okay? You got to give me a goddamn crumb of anything, okay? And the entry point to that crumb is obviously humiliating Donald Trump, which she did expertly. There's more that she needed to do at this debate, and I talked about it immediately in the aftermath of the debate as well, in terms of like offering people things that will improve their lives, openly communicating that you're going to help people. That's kind of the fundamental principle behind a democratic process where the votes are earned and not, they're not expected, right? Obviously, we've completely lost the plot on that front, but she did the thing, and she looked very good at this debate, and Trump looked very bad at this debate. So this helps her, and I think a second debate would probably help her as well. That's precisely the reason why Trump doesn't want to do it, okay? Trump doesn't want to do it. Now, I don't even know if Donald Trump is capable of going into that debate stage and just having the old charisma and the juice that he once had. He doesn't have that same is it pep in your step? She did the thing your millennial is showing right now. Wait, what? How was that? What are you saying? Yeah, he does not have the same stamina, and he does not have the same pep in his step. Okay? Trump saying he doesn't want to debate is also a negotiating tactic to get the next debate on Fox. There's no way he doesn't do another one. The Fox debate will look so insane. It has to be on neutral ground, okay? People, like, Trump acts like ABC was not neutral ground. It was, dog. You just can't get away with fucking lying. Like, it's crazy to me that the idea that the ABC debate was actually not neutral and they were very pro Kamala Harris is, like, kind of stupid, because it's like, yeah, one side was just regularly lying. Like, that's the expectation from anyone Okay, if we're living in a normal planet, if we're living in a normal universe and not the United States of America in 2024, the expectation should be, yeah, of course you're gonna fucking fact check. How the fuck would any journalist or any commentator or any host of a television show let one of the two candidates get away with saying insane blood libel about like immigrants, dude? Of course you gotta fucking fact check. They didn't really fact check Kamala because there was not that much to fact check. What are they going to fact check her on? The Hamas rape situation? Like, they're not going to do that. They're never going to do that. That's equal opportunity, okay? The media is bipartisan on that front. They will lie at the behest of the state of Israel regardless. So, like, beyond that, what could they have fact checked Kamala Harris on? The one thing that they could have fact checked Kamala Harris on was when she said, oh, you used the term bloodbath, okay? I don't know why the Democratic Party still goes along with that, okay? I don't know why they still go along with that. The most that they could have done if they wanted to be a little bit more like needling on Kamala Harris's front is not let her get away with deflecting on direct questions like, do you feel better? Like, do you think Americans are better off now than they were 4 years ago? That is a very biased question. Trump received a lot of biased questions, and that was a biased question in the direction of Kamala Harris. The problem is Kamala Harris expertly deflected away by needling Trump, and then Trump took the bait, and then the conversation devolved. I mean, it just exploded in that situation. The moderator could have stood on that question and been like, please give us an answer, Madam Vice President, but they didn't do that, right? But if your opponent, this is kind of like, here's what it is, okay? With the CNN thing, I was frustrated that they didn't fact check with CNN, obviously, but my expectation was that, Joe Biden would at least do something about it, right? And he didn't. He was objectively bad and so bad that he had to, no longer run for president, right? But one thing you have to remember in this process is that beyond the actual candidates talking to one another, okay, beyond the actual candidates that are talking to one another, like if one side is doing a fire hose of lies and the other side is just like massaging the truth a little bit in terms of like, misappropriating what Donald Trump was saying, and that is a lie still, but that's nowhere near as big as a lie. In the effort to continue the conversation, you just kind of let certain things go. They let a lot of shit that Trump was saying go, technically. They just only fact check the most glaringly obvious insanities, okay? And in terms of like October 7, like I said, if you think that they're ever going to fact check anything that you say in defense of Israel, you must not be living in this country, okay? Like Donald Trump said a shit ton. He said Venezuelan gangs are overtaking Aurora apartments. That's a lie too. That's also a lie. Why didn't they fact check that? Okay. Donald Trump said that, migrants are responsible for tens of thousands of deaths. He said it all. He said his regular shit. The only thing that they fact checked was basically the most egregious lies that he was telling, which is, Haitians are eating your cats, your dogs, and your pets in general. So, also he said they were doing like genital surgery or transing immigrants or whatever. That one wasn't even fucking false, by the way. I mean, Trump is an idiot, and he's lost his two-step. He doesn't have his mid-range anymore, okay? He used to be able to dunk, drive to the goddamn paint, and he had a pretty solid fucking midi. He doesn't have none of that shit no more. He doesn't have it, okay? He could have just straight up talked about, like, that thing that he brought up was obviously far too specific and far too new in the media cycle. It's an old story about how under Kamala Harris, like when she was Attorney General, I think she allowed like trans prisoners to get surgery or something. That's basically what it was about. I don't even know the exact details, but it was K-File did another investigative piece on it. Here, we'll look at it. But technically what Donald Trump was trying to explain, okay, here, this is it. Harris told the ACLU in 2019 she supports cuts to ICE funding and providing gender transition surgery to detain migrants. So like, it's not wrong, but he fucked it up because he couldn't even get away with like saying what he was trying to say. Okay? He was just like, you're doing illegal aliens or forcibly being transed in prisons or whatever the fuck. And it was like at that point, you're Bidening, okay? You're Bidening out. You got like a point that you're trying to fucking push, and you're having a hard time because people are gonna listen to that. People are gonna listen to that and go, "What the fuck are you saying, dude?" But once again, this is a very reverse Biden situation for Donald Trump. Why? Because Biden was so bad at the debate that people didn't pay attention to how bad Trump was. I talked about how bad Trump was. If you recall, Felix also brought this up as well, if you remember. Trump was fucking dog shit at that debate, but it didn't matter because Biden was so bad. He imploded so catastrophically that nobody even cared about what Trump was saying. Okay? This time, Trump was so bad that people didn't even like pay attention to certain lack of policy from the Kamala camp. Like they're still going on the vibes-based shit. Okay? Do you understand? Because Trump is so unimaginably crazy right now on the timeline, up and down. Like he is so extremely online and so invested in pumping out QAnon grandparent talking points that he saw on Facebook headlines with articles riddled to the brim with AI art that it's virtually impossible to pay attention to like Kamala Harris's weaknesses. Okay? Because Kamala Harris has weaknesses. She did a great job needling Trump, but there is a shit ton of weaknesses that she has not addressed. A lot of the same questions that people have for Kamala Harris, I'm certain they still have for Kamala Harris. I don't have fucking answers. I don't know, and I pay pretty close attention to it. No way she's perfect. No, she's not. She's not perfect. You guys are fucking insane. Kamala Harris is doing a solo TV interview while keeping it to local news. She's participating in a taped interview with Brian Taff of Action News 6, ABC, a local station in Philadelphia. The interview will air on the station's 6 p.m. broadcast. Good stuff. We'll see. I do hate that the post-Trump era of American politics have unironically caused people's expectations to be even fucking lower from whichever party that they're voting for. And it's unimaginably frustrating to sit here and think about that every fucking day. Like, think about the conversations that we were having on the left in terms of like advancing certain policies when Bernie Sanders was running against Hillary Clinton. Medicare for all, okay? Like significantly better labor protections, free college, okay? Eviscerating, gutting student loan debt, okay? Doing massive student loan debt relief. All of these things were tangible. Raising the minimum wage. These were all like real policies that American people were talking about, okay? Criminal justice reform, voting rights restoration. These are all things that even like the residual impact of this carried on into the 2020 cycle as well, where Joe Biden was like, I'm going to do the public option, you know? It's all gone. It's all gone. There is nothing. We have devolved. And the reason why, moving away from fossil fuels. Yes, a green economy, a focus on renewable energy. These were like things that at least the Democrats would like run on. And we just got none of that, dude. None of that. Drill, baby, drill. Whether you're blue or red, doesn't matter. We're drilling, okay? And you can't do a goddamn thing about it, okay? It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy that like on immigration, we have just, we are fucking bouldering towards Adolf Hitler, straight up. telling you, watch the 04 and 08 presidential debates. It feels surreal. Yeah. And Trump definitely collapsed the expectations for sure, because he ran on fucking vibes too. He ran on a lot of vibes, big time. So now, because of his incompetence and because of how much of a fucking like entertainment magnet he is, okay, ultimately the Democrats can kind of get away with just also not really doing anything in terms of like launching any kind of progressive policies, solutions, prescriptions whatsoever, and just like looking to carve out 10,000 votes in Georgia and maybe 20,000 votes that might be like Trump Republicans but are in the margins in Pennsylvania, and hope that like this race will swing in their favor. Oh, it's really crazy. CNN Harris campaign internals, PA looking rough. Michigan and Wisconsin look best internally. Pennsylvania looks rough, though very possible. North Carolina is feeling better to them this time around than Arizona. Nevada and Georgia both seem possible, though challenging. Michigan and Wisconsin are looking the best. That's a crazy take. There has been a huge amount of environmental progress in the last 4 years, probably more so than any other 4 years in the U.S. The administrative wins have been huge, and IRA/BIL are the largest climate investments of any country in the world. Okay, I wouldn't say of any country in the world. China's right there, brother. Come on now. No, he's not. Fango Lives is not wrong. No, he's not wrong. Guys, he's not wrong. He's not wrong. Stop. Just because we don't hyper focus on fucking the Brandon accomplishments does not change the reality that, like, yes, there have been achievements under the Biden administration in terms of climate policy. The issue, on the other hand, is like we're burning the candle on both ends. He will understand and admit to this as well. What do I mean by this? On the one hand, we're making renewable energy investments. I agree, and that's a good thing, okay? Not necessarily campaigning on it, which I think is a fucking major flub, but we're not going to talk about that, okay? You got like fucking battery plants opening up in like the middle of the country. Those are good things, okay? And they're unionizing too, okay? But on the other hand, and he's right, U.S. is becoming the largest oil exporter. And on top of that, the Supreme Court gutted the fucking regulatory agency's mechanism for regulation. Like, so on the one hand, we moved 2 steps in the positive direction and moved 11 steps in the negative direction. So it's really fucked up. It's really, really, really bad. I think we are so far, we are left behind on that front. It's terrible. It's fucking terrible. And when the Harris campaign is not touting the legislative accomplishments of IRA, for example, or like even from the perspective of like opening up new manufacturing fronts in the United States of America, and just simply talking about all the new jobs that were created under the Biden administration, which is good. You could say that. Yes, there's a post-COVID recovery bump, but like beyond that, if you don't talk about like new manufacturing plants opening up, the fact that they're unionized as well on top of that, and how much investments into the renewables is actually good for the future of the country, and on the issue of energy, the only thing you say is drill baby drill, and I'm never going to stop fracking. That's the takeaway for people. And that is going to have even worse, more significant consequences in terms of political discourse in this country, because it's the same principle behind the immigration stuff, right? The same principle behind the immigration stuff, where it's literally you're saying, I'm hyper-focusing on fracking and I'm pro-fracking. That's the only position that you need to hear from me in terms of like what I believe we must do for energy. You have no interest in pushing and defending your agenda, even if it's beneficial, okay? You have no interest in advocating for the good things that you've done. That's why I'm so frustrated with the Biden administration, and that's why I'm so frustrated with the Kamala Harris campaign. These guys on the Republican side do such a phenomenal job by exposing their messaging weakness, okay? Their messaging weakness on this front is mind-boggling, okay? Mind-boggling. Like, Republicans for the past 4 years have been crying about 85,000 IRS agents, okay? 85,000 IRS agents. They all got guns. They're coming to your house and they're going to take your fucking trailer park away. Okay? That's how they're presenting it. Meanwhile, the IRS has been able to fucking collect billions of dollars in taxable revenue from avoiders, okay? From people who have not only through legal mechanisms, which there's plenty of, avoided taxes harder than the top of the hour avoiders that avoid the top of the hour ad break by subscribing for $6, even though it's September right now, so it's 30% off, or for free with a Twitch Prime, okay? Yeah, they got those from millionaires, okay? From millionaires. The IRS took back billions of dollars from millionaires, not regular fucking working class people. The IRS is also prosecuting Coca-Cola for being a tax dodger to the tune of $16 billion fucking dollars. And you're out here not putting that as like the top, like not fucking using that every goddamn day, talking about how the FTC is going after fucking Amazon. Like, these are things that you should be messaging, but the Democrats don't, because they're terrified that corporations are gonna get mad at them. Their corporate subsidiaries, their real donors, the actual constituency they care about is gonna get fucking mad at them, and they're going to pull support, okay? That's why it's fucked. That's why they don't run on that shit. And it's genuinely upsetting. This administration, beyond being, very obviously permanent genocide in Gaza, pro-permanent genocide in Gaza, which, by the way, I'm running the 3-minute ad break right now, by the way. But outside of that, this administration has been significantly more progressive than the Obama administration even, okay? This is something that I have openly recognized. Pulling out of Afghanistan was phenomenal, okay? It was the right thing to fucking do, and the Biden administration did that. It requires a lot of fucking bravery. It requires burning a lot of goddamn social and political capital to do so, and they did that shit, okay? They never defended it. Insane. They never defended it. You just completely capitulated to the right-wing framing from the media and the Republican Party on that front. 13 of our best soldiers died. 13 of our best soldiers died. Now the Taliban is fucking doing tricks on it. They're doing trick shots with the Blackhawks that they got from us. Ridiculous. It's right there. Just fucking say 67 of our best soldiers died in Afghanistan under the Trump administration. 13 died when we were withdrawing out of Afghanistan. Of course, it was going to be a complicated process. Of course, it was going to be bloody. Not a single veteran needs to die. And that's precisely why we did the right thing. Because when you don't have troop presence in an active war zone, they don't fucking die. Okay? That's it. That's all you gotta fucking say. Shut them the fuck up. Trump did not have the bravery to actually pull out. He negotiated the terms. Biden actually followed through on it. That's leadership. That's bravery. Okay? Leaders have to make bold decisions sometimes, okay? Brave decisions sometimes. But then they also have to defend it. And if you don't defend it, if you don't message around it, then no one gives a fuck.